Welcome to the self-tutorial developed to support the release of the SIF Implementation Specification United States version 2.5. This session is designed to provide a quick summary of what the SIF framework is and how the SIF 2.5 specification represents a huge step forward in enabling data utilization and application interoperability for states and schools across the country. More importantly, we hope you think of ways in which it might support your work. A quick review. SIF is not a product, but a freely accessible and openly developed technical blueprint that enables data to move between software applications. When it comes to data input, management and reporting, our motto is enter it once and utilize it many times. It might be easier to see the SIF blueprint as providing a common language for communication between educational software applications. Instead of requiring an application to work out the details of the data components and formats needed to interoperate with each partner, the application can speak in its own language using a SIF agent to perform the translation, and be assured that the results will be understood by every other educational application which uses the SIF blueprint. Complete interoperability between SIF-conformant applications needs only an enterprise service bus or zone integration server to transport the data exchanges. Constructing a common language for educational applications to communicate sounds simple, but it's taken over a decade of work from hundreds of volunteers, and it's still evolving. Creating a shared language is only part of the solution. There must also be an agreed-upon mechanism for information exchange or an infrastructure. Because of the SIF infrastructure, when application A speaks, the message it sends will be routed to the right listener and is guaranteed to get there safely and securely. The combination of the SIF data model and the SIF infrastructure make up the SIF standard. When applications conform to this standard exchange, every bit of information going over the wire between them is defined. As a result, purchasers of SIF-based solutions are able to select best-of-breed components, and with each new release, the SIF standard gets closer to providing out-of-the-box interoperability. As the need for assessing the performance of schools grew, particularly with the introduction of No Child Left Behind, a clear way of comparing between schools was needed. To do that effectively, a common framework for describing student attributes was needed. The SIF data model, deployed at thousands of school sites, provided that common framework. The SIF community developed these needed mechanisms to provide such uniform, high-quality and timely data for state reporting. As a result, many districts, as well as the majority of states, began to leverage SIF for some level of vertical, i.e. district-to-state reporting. In doing so, you could ensure that the data was high quality, accurate, immediate, vendor independent, secure, and identical across all SIF-enabled schools. And now to the new release. All previous SIF releases used Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, or HTTPS, as the sole secure transport layer in the SIF infrastructure, but there has been an increasing demand from the educational community to allow an application written as a standard web service to operate within the SIF zone. Introducing a second reference transport based upon SOAP, the Service-Orientated Architecture Transport, enables any web service conforming to the SIF data model to successfully exchange messages with any SIF application. As web service technology is mature, familiar to developers and widely deployed, SIF can now allow easier integration with other web services and increase the accessibility of SIF data to outside communities. An additional functional enhancement introduced by this release extends the SIF data model by additional teaching and learning functionality, including targeted enhancements in the areas of academic standard, including the Common Core standards in the area of student assessment. As stated earlier, one of the major new features in the 2.5 specification is providing support for the SOAP transport. Now fully functional SIF components can be developed with the standard web service developer toolsets. The addition of directed events in the 2.5 release provides another tool for systems administrators to customize data security by allowing an application to determine who the recipients of its data are. For example, an application front-ending a work-study program in which only 5 of 1,000 students are registered can now be restricted to receiving events for only those 5 students. So what does the SIF 2.5 release mean for adopters? As we have discussed, making the SIF data available to web service applications allows easier integration of SIF components into the computing environment and easier to find and train SIF developers. The strategy for incorporating web service technology into the SIF infrastructure has been to embrace, not replace. This second web service reference infrastructure is equal to and compatible with the first. SIF web services will interoperate seamlessly with previously deployed SIF applications, and they directly benefit from the entire set of SIF infrastructure functionality, including guaranteed message delivery, content-based routing, publish and subscribe, auto-discovery, and data security. With the addition of a second reference infrastructure, it became clear that the data model and infrastructure of the SIF standard needs to be cleanly separated. The most important parts of this separation have been achieved. The SIF web service infrastructure is now completely independent of the data model, and both reference structures are separately documented. The web service infrastructure can now be directly reused as is to support SIF data model usage by United States, United Kingdom or Australia. A SIF Web Service Developer's Toolkit is also included with this release. It comes complete with a set of files and instructions that, combined with the separate SIF Web Service volume of the specification, will greatly facilitate the construction of new SIF web services, as well as the conversion of existing SIF applications if desired. The SIF community now consists of 3 international communities, collaborating to mature the specification and tools for global management of educational data. Alignment is crucial, but local needs must be addressed, and the separation permits a localization of the SIF data model based on local requirements whilst maintaining a shared infrastructure. The separation provided in Release 2.5 allows data extensions to be developed more rapidly, and faster revisions of the data model means a quicker response to your needs. Finally, the 2.5 specification continues the expansion of the most mature K-12 data model with a renewed focus on enabling more of the teaching and learning process. In 2.5, new elements have been added to help enable more of the teaching and learning going on in the classroom each day. The majority of changes between SIF specification releases involve updates to the SIF data model. The separation of data model and infrastructure will allow for quicker releases, providing a more agile response to requests. The modifications to the data model in 2.5 better enable assessment system interoperability and the tracking of student learning linked to academic content standards, most notably the Common Core State Standards adopted by 42 US states. This is truly where rubber meets the road. The ability to deploy and manage web services as integral SIF components increases the value of existing SIF solution investments, whilst opening the door to SIF adoption by educational organisations committed to deploying only web service-based solutions, including third-party hosted applications. The ability to have a web service alternative architecture for SIF state-level solutions opens the door for large institutional adoption of the SIF data model and transport. With the permission of the district administrator, this web service can then access district data of interest and receive event notifications when that data changes. In effect, the State Educational Agency, or SEA, has created a data collection facility which can retrieve and monitor district and school data of interest from every SIF-enabled system in the state at the source. So what's new in 2.5? For the entire educational software application marketplace, and those of us who need to use quality information each day on our jobs, a lot. It's a very major, minor release. Be sure to register on the SIF community site to keep up to speed on our post 2.5 activities. We will be hosting webinars specially designed for end users and developers to dive into what 2.5 means to them. And now more than ever, the communication is in both directions. The SIF community is developing mechanisms for collecting your desired data model changes, an agile response to enable the quick development and deployment of solutions that meet your needs. Continued quality control is being done by maturing the successful SIF certification program, in which vendors must demonstrate that their products meet certain levels of SIF interoperability. The SIF community spans over 3,200 school, state, federal and vendor members who are actively engaged in the numerous data initiatives going on across the country and who can serve as resources for helping keep you informed. Contact us for reference sites in your area. Finally, we're 12 months out from our next major release, codenamed Columbus. A good way to get involved is by providing us your data management needs. The community's direction depends on you. Please feel free to contact us at any time if we can support your work. Thank you for your time and interest.